Hello, everybody. I bring to you an extraterrestrial perspective on humans and Western society. I'm still currently unemployed. Been looking for a job since December of last year, 2024, and it's already September 2025. From an extraterrestrial vantage, the humans of Western society are peculiar beings, wrapped in contradictions so dense they mistake them for truths. They are creatures of immense ingenuity, building machines that bend metal, light, and information to their will. Yet they are equally trapped by the very constructs they devise. Their lives orbit around symbols called money, small slips of matter, or shifting digital pulses, which they collectively agree hold power greater than food, shelter, or even the planet that sustains them. They pride themselves on individuality, declaring freedom as their highest virtue, yet many of their choices are dictated by invisible systems they neither see nor question. Their garments, their dwellings, their foods, even the thoughts they allow themselves to think are shaped by markets, algorithms, and inherited hierarchies. They purchase identities the way they purchase shoes. Western humans measure time with frantic precision, slicing it into hours, minutes, seconds, then filling it with obligations. They speak of productivity as if it were a sacred force, a deity demanding constant sacrifice. Rest, contemplation, even joy are seen as indulgences to be earned rather than intrinsic states of being. Their relationship with their planet is troubling. They live upon a world of abundance, yet act as if resources are infinite and expendable. They strip mountains, poison rivers, and blanket their skies with haze, all to maintain the illusion of progress. They know the damage they inflict, but the momentum of their habits makes halting difficult. Yet there is brilliance. They create sounds that move through air and stir the deepest parts of themselves, music that echoes like starlight across civilizations. They tell stories that wrestle with mortality, with longing, with love. They paint and sculpt and write as though desperately trying to translate their souls into something tangible, as though each creation might be the key to their own riddle. The paradox is this: humans of the Western sphere appear lost in pursuit of meaning, while simultaneously generating it in excess. They cling to the belief that they are fractured, incomplete, yet from afar it is clear that their imperfections are precisely what makes them whole. Field Report: Observations on Humans in Western Society. Compiled by Observer Unit A17, Stellar Survey Corp. Introduction. This report details behavioral, cultural, and systemic traits of humans residing in the geopolitical regions they classify as Western. Observations indicate paradoxical tendencies, high technological advancement coexisting with profound social and ecological dysfunction. 1. Social organization. Humans in Western society construct complex hierarchies. These hierarchies are not based on inherent physical or intellectual difference, but on an artificial system called wealth. Wealth is accrued through labor, inheritance, or manipulation of abstract markets. The wealthy are granted greater freedoms, while the poor are constrained by perpetual scarcity. Despite proclaiming ideals of equality, their structures perpetuate inequality as a central organizing principle. Most humans appear resigned to this arrangement, believing it natural. 2. Temporal orientation. Western humans divide their existence into units of time measured with relentless precision. They dedicate the majority of their waking cycles to work, often detached from their true survival needs: food, shelter, community. This work is primarily to acquire wealth, not sustenance. Leisure is restricted and rationed. When permitted, it is frequently monetized and transformed into further consumption. 3. Relationship to technology. Technological devices are both tools and extensions of identity. Humans carry portable machines that connect them to vast networks of information, yet they often use these machines for distraction rather than enlightenment. The devices function as both tether and leash, regulating behavior through unseen algorithms. Despite unparalleled access to knowledge, the human's attention spans are fragmented. Many are unable to sustain focus without constant stimulation. 4. Ecological impact. The Western human economy is predicated on extraction and consumption. They dismantle forests, drain soils, and release toxins into their own atmosphere. Awareness of impending ecological collapse is widespread, yet corrective measures are minimal, often obstructed by pursuit of wealth. Notably, they invent terms like sustainability and green energy, but these often serve as symbolic gestures rather than systemic transformation. 5. Cultural output. Despite systemic dysfunction, humans produce extraordinary art, music, and literature. These outputs are not merely decorative, but essential attempts to translate existential confusion into beauty. Their creations reveal longing for transcendence, for permanence beyond mortality. This cultural expression is a counterforce to their destructive tendencies, evidence that their species contains both the disease and the cure within itself. 6. Psychological condition. Western humans experience high rates of anxiety, isolation, and dissatisfaction, even while surrounded by abundance. They invent industries, psychotherapy, pharmaceuticals, self help to manage the symptoms of living within their own systems. A recurring theme in their behavior is the search for meaning. Unlike many species, humans are not satisfied with survival. They require narrative frameworks to justify existence. Conclusion. Western humans are a paradoxical civilization. Their ingenuity is matched only by their self-destructive impulses. They are capable of producing great beauty while perpetuating immense harm. Their defining trait may be this duality, this simultaneous creation and destruction of their own world. Further observation is recommended, and intervention is not advised at this stage. Contact could stabilize their fragile equilibrium. Confidential intelligence briefing. Classification Level 7 Observation File. Subject Homo sapiens. Western Sector. Prepared for the High Assembly of the Stellar Directorate. Google Doc for this will be in the description below. I'm going to make sure that I put all my writings and my docs below in the link in the description. Executive Summary. Humans inhabiting the western regions of their planet demonstrate advanced technological development, but their societies are destabilized by systemic contradictions. Primary vulnerabilities include over-reliance on symbolic wealth, ecological self-destruction, and chronic psychological instability. While their cultural output suggests remarkable creative potential, their organizational models remain primitive, unsustainable, and prone to eternal collapse. Recommendation: surveillance only, no direct engagement until further assessment. 1. Political and social structure. Operate under the illusion of freedom while adhering to rigid hierarchical systems based on wealth accumulation. Decision making is heavily influenced by small groups, corporations, oligarchs, who control resources disproportionate to their population size. Collective action is limited by internal divisions. Propaganda ensures compliance with existing hierarchies. 2. Economic systems. Their economy is based on perpetual growth, despite residing on a planet with finite resources. Wealth is concentrated in digital abstractions, currency, stocks, disconnected from tangible survival needs. The majority of the population exchanges their lifetime in repetitive labor cycles to maintain the system, often at personal psychological cost. 3. Technological dependency. Communication and decision making are mediated by handheld devices and invisible data systems. The species is vulnerable to manipulation through algorithmic influence. External forces could exploit this channel easily. Despite access to unprecedented knowledge, population demonstrates declining capacity for critical analysis and long-term planning. 4. Ecological status. Rapid degradation of biosphere underway. Primary drivers: extraction industries, fossil fuel combustion, and deforestation. Humans are aware of the danger, yet remain immobilized by economic priorities and short-term incentives. Probability of large-scale ecological collapse within 3 to 6 planetary cycles, decades by their reckoning. 5. Cultural and psychological profile. Exhibits unique obsession with meaning beyond survival. This results in creation of sophisticated art, music, and literature. High baseline anxiety, isolation, and dissatisfaction despite material abundance. Reliance on pharmaceuticals and therapy industries to cope with systemic pressures. Paradox, simultaneously capable of profound empathy and extreme violence. 6. Strategic assessment. Strengths: creativity and adaptability in crisis, advanced communication technologies, capacity for unity in rare moments of collective purpose. Weaknesses: deep systemic inequality, environmental unsustainability, psychological fragility and susceptibility to manipulation. Recommendation to the assembly: continue passive observation, monitor cultural outputs closely, they may provide insight into potential evolutionary leaps. Avoid overt contact, premature exposure could destabilize species trajectory, leading to unpredictable hostilities. Consider long-term strategy for resource reclamation should planetary collapse accelerate. I'm waiting for the plane to go on by. Vroom. I would love to get on a plane and go to Bangladesh or Germany to try some Wiener Schnitzel. I want some Wiener Schnitzels. Red level threat assessment. Classification: ultra restricted. Stellar Directorate eyes only. Subject: Homo sapiens, Western Sector, Terra 3. Prepared by Strategic Division, Observer Unit A-17. Executive Summary. Human civilization in the Western Sphere of Terra 3 presents a rapidly escalating threat profile. Despite primitive governance and fragmented unity, their accelerating technological advancements coupled with destructive ecological behavior position them as a volatile species. They demonstrate a capacity for sudden innovation that could make them strategically unpredictable. Probability of self-extinction is high, but risk of collateral damage to local star systems cannot be dismissed. Strategic options must be considered. That's my neighbor next door. Put the windows up. It's chill. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and if you can't, please follow along in the Google Docs down below in the description. That is why I have it there. 1. Behavioral threat factors. Expansionist mentality. Though confined to their home planet, Western humans exhibit a consistent drive to dominate, extract, and consume. Should they attain reliable interstellar travel, extraplanetary exploitation is inevitable. Weaponization tendencies, development of destructive technologies, fission, fusion, autonomous drones, chemical, biological agents occurs without adequate control structures. Likelihood of further escalation, extreme. Unstable hierarchies, leadership determined by wealth and populist influence rather than strategic logic, decisions often irrational, emotional, and short sighted. 2. Technological capacity. Communications and networks, near total planetary connectivity achieved, exploitable but also grants them collective mobilization potential. Artificial intelligence, early stage but advancing, risk, humans may delegate control of systems beyond their comprehension. Energy and weaponry, active pursuit of high yield energy sources, nuclear arsenal already capable of biosphere termination. Space exploration, limited but symbolic milestones achieved, orbital presence, planetary probes, expansion capability projected within 3 to 5 planetary cycles. 3. Ecological impact, engaged in large scale biosphere degradation, current trajectory leads to collapse within a century by their measurements. Self-destructive pattern may neutralize them without intervention, but desperation could trigger aggressive expansionist attempts. 4. Psychological profile, strengths, creativity, adaptability, capacity for innovation under duress. Weaknesses, chronic anxiety, tribal divisions, susceptibility to mass manipulation, reliance on symbolic belief systems. Volatile, volatility, capable of extreme altruism and extreme violence, often within the same social group. 5. Strategic scenarios. Scenario A, containment recommended. Covertly limit technological progress through subtle disruptions. Manipulate internal divisions to prevent planetary unification. Maintain observation until ecological collapse reduces threat level. Scenario B, exploitation. Harvest resources post-collapse. Selectively preserve subgroups for labor or cultural study. High risk of resistance if executed prematurely. Scenario C, elimination. Direct sterilization of biosphere to prevent off-world expansion. Immediate neutralization of nuclear and communication systems required. Extreme ethical and diplomatic repercussions within Directorate if executed. Conclusion. Humans of the Western sector are not yet an interstellar threat, but their developmental trajectory makes them a Category Red volatility species. Their ingenuity ensures that collapse is not guaranteed. Intervention or containment is the most prudent option to ensure dictatorate security. Final recommendation. Proceed with containment protocols reassess in 50 planetary orbits. And I'm going to leave you guys there. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.